Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another episode of Volunteer Patrol. So I'm in the many of you guys know have ever visited Orange County, Orlando. Well-known mall is the Florida Mall. So I'm in that area, that's Sector 4, and patrolling. I believe they had a lot of complaints or something, so we were working complaints in that sector for whatever reason. Not in a sector I'm normally assigned to. I'm driving it down Sand Lake Road, which is the main road through Sector 4 off of where the Florida Mall is. And come upon a vehicle that's obviously broke down in the turning lane. And it's a very busy intersection. There's several gas stations right there. I believe there was 2 on the same side that you can turn into. So I stopped, calling the radio, hey, got it's called a disabled vehicle, be out with it, and it was a small car, so I knew that we should be able to easily, depending on what the situation was, easily push it. If it was out of gas or something, it'd just be easier pushing into the gas station. Needlessly, had to be out of the road to help free up the flow of traffic, so that way it wasn't impeding the flow of traffic. So I get out, I checked out with dispatch, hey, be out with this vehicle, and I'm in my summer uniform. Summer uniform involves a shirt and pants, and then we do have a Class A, which is a long sleeve button down with your slacks, and then you have a Class B, which is your short sleeve button down with slacks. So, and then Class C is your summer uniform. So I preferred summer uniform. It's Florida, it's hot, and so I was wearing that uniform to duty belt, and at the time, if you look at my setup, my duty belt, I even tell you a little story about it, or show that I don't use anymore. But we're issued a belt clip, for the radio. It's a clip that if you rotate it 300 or 180 degrees, it will pull off. So it spins. It spins 360 degrees. But at 180, it will pull off. That's so that you can easily pull it off to change the channel or look at it or something. So it is a convenience. However, I found it to be very much of an inconvenience, and this is why. So this particular car, I get out and get with the driver and say, hey, let's go ahead and get you out of the roadway. And so I proceed to push from behind. So the driver was smaller. You stay there, you kind of steer best you can. And as I start to push, another person gets out of the car. They possibly were behind my car and got out to help me out. They saw that I may need some help. So we're pushing through this huge, Sand Lake Road is, I want to say 6 lanes, 3 on each side. It's a very busy road. A lot of people drive on that. And here I am out here pushing this car. And next thing you know, my darn radio, for whatever reason, I'm not sure if it was because of the extension mic. We have the coiled extension mic, so I'm guessing what was happening was, as we're running, jogging, brisk walk, my radio is swinging back and forth on my duty belt on that 360 degree clip. Well, apparently it just managed to hit the 180 and basically popped out. So here I am pushing this car. My darn radio is dragging on the ground. We're in the middle of a 3-lane or 6-lane road here, very busy. Cars are because the light had turned green on us. We waited for a left green arrow, and it turned green for us, so we proceeded to push. In the middle of the intersection, my radio is falling off. It's dragging on the ground. I can't stop because we had the momentum, and we had to go up this kind of an incline to get into this gas station. So needless to say, that radio dragged for probably a good 50, 60, 70 feet or so. Very embarrassing, just very sloppy. I'm sure it happens to law enforcement officers as well. I believe they improved the design. I complained to Supply about it much later on, and they actually, I think now they make ones that are, there's a clip actually that you have to depress in order for it to pop out. You can't just turn it and it pops out. So apparently I must have the first generation of that particular style of radio holster. Most deputies that I see, they have a different radio than what we use. Again, you'll see that in my equipment video. Theirs are a little bit taller, and they usually have theirs inside of a hard plastic case that's always connected to their belt, and they can just easily, I think they have to do the same thing, kind of push a button and it'll come up out of the holster. So needless to say, after that I abandoned that. They did give me the new design, and I still wasn't impressed. It was still the same thing, 180. Even though you had a little button, there's still just a chance for that to fall out. So I abandoned that completely. My radio is now secured to my duty belt via the built-in Motorola clip, belt clip, and that has been worked tremendous for me. It is now harder to get that off my belt, which is great, to change the channel, but usually by memory now I can change the channels. The only thing I have a problem with is B/C channels, which I barely use those anyways. I usually stay on the A channel list, and then you can cycle through different sectors and stuff. So hope you guys like that story. Now I look back, it's kind of funny, but it was kind of embarrassing, and it's just fun at the same time. So hope you guys like that story. Continue watching, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.